Hey, welcome to this video about sexual compatibility. It's one of those things that we all worry about when we meet someone. Are we going to be compatible sexually? Are we going to like the same things? Because what is sexual compatibility? Sexual compatibility is the extent in which a couple perceives that they share sexual desires, sexual preferences, sexual beliefs, and sexual needs. So that doesn't mean that you all have to be exactly the same, but that you feel like you connect sexually with that other person in many ways, not only mentally, but also physically you connect with that person. Normally, if the more compatible you are with someone, the better your sex life is going to be. That's obvious. The thing is that we don't normally choose who we fall in love with. Normally, when we see someone and we are attracted to that person, we really don't know if we're compatible in terms of sexuality. We don't know what the other one knows. So I always say, we need to go into relationships with an open mind, because many times we think we know everything and we think that our way is the best. And we can learn many things from other people that have other ways of seeing sex, and we have to be open. That's one thing. And because compatibility, of course, there's sometimes where, if something goes against our beliefs, sometimes it's difficult to accept some things. But I recommend to go very open, because sometimes we say, well, I'm not compatible. Well, you have not tried, really. You have not tried to see if you're compatible. Now, compatibility, there are things like, well, I like to do it with the lights on, well, with the lights off. I like to do hard sex all the time, and the other person likes slow sex all the time. The way you get excited, some people like to get excited one way, the other people like to get excited differently. So if you don't find a middle point there, sometimes it's, if it's too different, probably you're incompatible sexually, and it's going to be difficult to make it work. When you're not compatible, when you have very different beliefs or you come from different places, because at the end, all of this comes from your experiences. Whatever you're going to experience in your life is going to make your beliefs, and it's going to make you act sexually the way you act. And if you're too different, you might be incompatible, and it might not work, because you're going to fade off, because you're not going to be willing to be with that person if the other person doesn't inspire you that passion and that willing to be with that person. And of course, this is a fact. I mean, we are more compatible with some people than with others. That's a fact. It's like we like more this type of people than we like this type of people. This is life. At the end, you're compatible with that person that everything flows, okay? When you're with a person sexually and everything flows, you don't even need to talk, and everything just goes, and you get horny very fast, and you have incredible sex. You're compatible, okay? It's very obvious, and it's easy, and it's great when that happens. Now, one thing, it's very important to not confuse compatibility with inexperience. If you're with a person who has not had many sexual experiences, maybe she or he doesn't know really what to do, and you might feel like you're not compatible because that person is very sort of like quiet or is not very active. Don't confuse that. If that person has not had much experience, make sure that you talk about it and that you help that person to let it out, whatever it's inside, let it out. Maybe your couple has only had one partner, and maybe she or he doesn't know really what to do, and that because he didn't have a good experience or she didn't have a good experience, and you need to actually help her or help him learn and take that out. So compatibility can be trained. This is a question that we all ask. I believe that you can work on compatibility, because we don't, as I said before, we don't know who we're going to fall in love with, and maybe you connect at different levels, and you're like, okay, maybe in sex you don't connect so much, but you can find a way to connect. There's always, you have to be open to explore new ways of having sex. You must be open to do that, because you never know what you can learn from this other person. Maybe this other person, like, let's put an example, a man, he's always had rough sex, and this girl likes soft sex, slow sex. The man might say, wow, we're not compatible. Well, you have not tried. And maybe you love that girl, you like that girl a lot in terms of her personality and everything, but you don't connect sexually. Give it a try. See what can come out of there. Life is not just, black and white. I mean, we can find ways in the middle, and we can learn all the time. A learning mind, a learning attitude is a key in life, for everything in life, but also for sex. So make sure you're open to experience new things and try to see if you can come to a point of compatibility, because you never know. You can always learn new things. Be open to new experiences, new positions, new ways of doing it, new fantasies you've never done that maybe can turn you on differently. Try it and give it a try. No, don't close your door automatically if you have the first night you have sex and it was not good and you're like, whoa, I'm not gonna connect with this person. You never know. It's happened to me before. So I've had that experience that first night was not so good, but then it really got really good. Okay, if you're in a couple, you probably know that you're compatible. I hope that you're in a couple. If you've been together for many years, I hope that you know that you find your compatibility. Okay, that middle point. But if not, go into the relationship to every person is different, and we need to accept that when we go into a relationship. Every single person is different. Don't expect that what you had before is going to be with the next one the same. Don't compare relationships. So if you meet Jenny tomorrow, and Jenny is going to be turned on different than Claire, and she's going to like maybe oral sex more than her, or maybe she likes this position better than her, and you're used to that girl, and now you have a new person in your life that it's different. So you also need to adjust yourself. You need to find that, you need to say, okay, now I'm with a new person, and this is a challenge. This is and it's a lot of fun to get to know the other person, not only in terms of her personality, but also in terms of her sexuality. So that we must go into that, not comparing to the past, going it as a new thing, as something, okay, I'm going to learn from this, I'm going to see what she likes, and I'm going to enjoy it. That's the attitude when you go into a relationship, and try to find that compatibility. So communication is the key for finding that compatibility, okay? Obviously, if you need to talk about it. Okay? If there's something you don't like, if there's something that you would like to her to do or him to do, if you need to talk, and you need to be open to try. That's all I can say about this, okay? About compatibility. And if you cannot find that middle point, that relationship is not going to work, obviously. But communication is the key here. Don't expect the other person to know everything from you, and vice versa. Sexual communication is key for a great sexual relationship. You need to talk about your desires, about what you don't like, what you like. Must do that. You have to, and it has to do a lot to do with compatibility. And don't expect that your relationship is going to be perfect. Because at the end, if a girl doesn't like something in particular and you love to do it, some girls love to give oral sex to a guy and some girls don't like it so much. Okay, well, you need to accept that, and okay, she's gonna do it, maybe not as much as you like to, but there's other things that she likes and that you can do. So find that balance again, find that in the middle, and then evaluate if this is worth for you. I mean, relationships is not just sex, it's many other things. So you have to balance whether this is good enough for you and you're satisfied in your sex life with this, what would you have, with the compatibility you have with that girl that you're with. You have to evaluate all those things, and that's up to you. I cannot tell you what to do. It's something that you have to do. I'm just giving you some clues about what you can do. Now, another thing, it's sizes, okay? Even though I always say that size does not matter, and it really does not, but we have preferences. A woman might have a preference of having a bigger dick, and some guys like big butts, or some guys like big boobs, or some guys even like small boobs and big butts. I mean, there's so many tastes and likes and dislikes, okay? So, but the size is a preference thing, and if a girl likes big dicks because she enjoys it better, and she needs a guy with a smaller dick, now she can get pleasure from that guy for sure, because size doesn't matter to give pleasure, but maybe she likes it bigger better because she likes it bigger better. This guy can give her pleasure, but she likes to have a bigger dick. Now she has to evaluate whether that guy gives her good enough for her to be satisfied. And that's another thing that has to do with compatibility, because not only preferences in terms of I like a big dick or I like a big boob, but also a smaller penis with a big vagina. And that's something that you cannot really do much about. I mean, if you have a smaller penis and the girl has a very big vagina, she can do exercises to strengthen the vagina walls so that she can squeeze, and she can squeeze that penis. But maybe, for her it's a lot easier, a lot better to have a bigger dick that she can, she doesn't have to squeeze so much, or because, she has a big vagina and she loves bigger dicks and bigger penises. Now, that incompatibility can happen. Of course it can happen. And I'm talking about here about size of penis and vagina, because at the end, the other things are preferences. I mean, big boobs, preference. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're gonna evaluate your couple for the size of the boobs, then you need to think about your life. Okay? It's a person, it's not a boob. A woman is a person, has personality, has many other things that are much more important than the size of her boobs. But the size of your dick is the size of your dick, and the size of the vagina is the size of the vagina, and that's it. So there's ways to solve it. As I said before, she can squeeze better. You can do Kegel exercises to make your dick get very hard. Things that you can do, I talk about that in other videos, but that can be a cause of incompatibility as well. Sizes and bodies. So again, here you have to work on it and try to see if it's good enough for you. If you're satisfied, it's very important to be satisfied sexually, because if not, you're going to go find something else. So find that middle point, find that way of making it work, and try to make it work. And if not, well, then you're incompatible, and maybe you need to find someone else. That's life. So to finish up this video, I don't want to, it's very difficult to tell you what to do. I mean, if you're in a situation that you don't feel compatible with your partner, or there's someone that you've met and you don't know if you're compatible, or you feel like you're not compatible, it's something you have to find out. I mean, you really have to find out and evaluate. And as I said, people, we are not just sex, we are many things. I mean, our relationship is based on many things. Sex is part of it, and sex is important. Especially if you're in a couple's relationship, if sex doesn't work, it's gonna go bust. So it needs to work. So you need to find that minimum. If you've had previous experiences, you have a little bit to compare. If you don't have any previous experiences, you can't compare. So you have to accept it or not. But you have to find that minimum where or that middle point where you're all both happy. But you have to go both with that open mind, with that idea that you want to make it work, and you're going to accept that the other person may like things and that you make like things, and agree on things. Like, if a girl doesn't like to do oral sex so much, agree on, okay, well, you can do this to me every now and then, I'll do this to you every now and then. Find that middle point where you both can make it work. But if it's incompatible, the only way you can do is you evaluate whether if this is worth for you or not. If your sexual life is good enough that you can be happy with what you have, then okay, it's great. Don't try to, again, don't compare. If you had this incredible lover 10 years ago, if you're trying to find that lover in all the people who you meet, you're making a big mistake, because you're settled for suffering, and you're settled for frustration. Every single person is different, and you cannot compare. You have to accept every person the way they come, and find that middle point where you two can go together if it's worth for you. If you think that you can make it last long, and you want to make it last long, you are compatible in many things, but sex is maybe so. Find that way. Talk. That's the only thing you can do, and this is my recommendation to you in this video. So hope you like it. I hope it makes sense to you, and that it helps you in case you have this situation, and I will see you in the next one.